See. We're live. Hey, you got Adam on the Outlier Insights Show, and I have frequent guest, constant collaborator, fun dude all around, Sukkot celebrator, Scott Reichel.
Sukkot celebrator is a good one. That's a good one. I mean, you're not wrong, but I haven't actually been called that before. So that's a good one.
Well, I didn't know that you did multiple dinners for it, but like, yeah, you're right. All right. So obviously you were out all night celebrating that Libs victory.
That was one of the worst games of basketball I've ever seen in my entire life. But see, it was pretty tricky because as a New York fan, there was a lot of sports going on, and luckily the Yankees weren't involved. But you had the Mets going, the Jets going, and the Liberty at the same time. So who the hell was watching the WNBA game? Just out of New Yorkers, I'm just asking.
I don't even know. I mean, it was pretty bad. Like, I looked down at the box score and I was like, wait, does she only have 5 points? Really?
Besides the quality of the game, I just mean in general. It just felt like every single Liberty playoff game was overlapping with other New York sports that people obviously care about more. So I was just wondering how the viewership actually was, like in the tri-state area. I imagine it wasn't too good, if I had to guess.
I'm sure it wasn't. It's just but it was like, well, like we got the best teams that we wanted in there. I mean,
I swept my picks from the WNBA show, so I can't complain.
Then there you go. Everybody wins.
Yep.
Hang on. As we talk about this, I'm going to send this link to people like my mother to watch us. My mom's not watching us. So she's definitely not watching us. Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to talk about. Let's talk about some of the games tonight. And then let's kind of, maybe if we want, we can do some NFL nonsense too. So that being said, boom. All right, let's kind of look. All right, so first game, there's stuff that I liked. This Ravens Bucks game, totals high. I love a high total and a short spread because it just generally means that teams will go back and forth and have a good time. Mm-hmm. The only big thing that I know injury wise on this is that Mike Evans has a hurt hammy, but I don't know how accurate that is. Do you care about anything on the side or total on this? Or you want to just dive into some props?
I mean, I'm not going to take the under in this game. I'll just tell you that much. I mean, Tampa, we saw 50-plus points last week against the Saints.
They gave up 27 in the first half to the Saints.
Yeah, they also had a bunch of interceptions. I thought about taking Baker over half an interception in this game. Just looking at the fact that even though Baltimore is not good against the pass, that is going to work in the favor of pass attempts for Baker. And if Evans is going to be out or potentially just compromise on a snap count, you're going to have to deal with Sterling Shepard, extra targets for Kate Otten and company. Like, I see a decent amount of volume in terms of pass attempts for Baker regardless, because Baltimore's pretty good against the run, and they're bad against the pass. I believe they're allowing the most passing yards per game in the league. So I don't mind Baker interception.
With a defensive coach. They've been doing this for like 4 years.
Correct. But I do feel like when you're looking at the overall, I'd say, game plan for Tampa, it has to involve throwing the ball, as far as I'm concerned. And with that being the case, I don't mind the Baker pass attempts. The one thing that's against that, though, is how often Baltimore has the ball. The time of possession, they just drain. So I feel like I'd be a little bit concerned taking passing yard props blindly if they're never going to be on the field, which is kind of a problem. So I don't mind the interception for Baker there. I know passing touchdowns is plus EV. I don't hate that either. But I see a lot of pass attempts, so I don't mind interception. It's pretty affordable. I mean, now it's at 142. It was at 125 last night. So that kind of jumped a bit, but I understand it. I think Baker's going to be throwing the ball around the entire game.
Yeah, I don't hate the passing. I don't hate the overpassing because if they're even going to drain clock, I mean, it's a pace up. The Bucks are a pace up team, even though they run a lot. I was tempted to look at like trying to roulette with one of their running backs, but ultimately it's just going to be a crapshoot. If it's anybody who I would take Bucky Irving. He just has the most like.
I mean, I'm not sure Rashad's any good, but the coaching staff loves watching him run into a wall for 2
yards.
They
love him.
Carry. I just
him and his 1.2 yards per carry. They freaking love.
His carries are 7.5. He's had 10 a decent amount of these games, but once again, he's coming off an injury. Did not play against the Saints last week. And I think Bucky Irving is better. And
Yeah,
it
I
should
think
be a
Bucky
pass
Evans
funnel
better.
defense. So I am not really interested in Bucky carries in that game.
I mean, this is low for Bucky. It's
I meant for Rashad. I wasn't interested in Rashad carries in the game. Sorry.
What's his carries? Let's
It's
see.
like 7.5.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested. I'd much rather taking a look at their game logs. Let me just look at this for Baltimore.
It's also pretty funny that his carries are at 7.5 and his yards are at 25.5.
I know, right?
They're just accounting for like 3.2 yards a carry. It's just pretty funny.
I mean, look, the Ravens are good on getting against running backs. Let me just look at their stuff. Every wide receiver, every alpha wide receiver definitely eats.
I mean, everyone's going to pivot to Godwin if Evans is even like 50%.
So I'm kind of like I don't hate Sterling Shepard as a first TD. I like Sterling Shepard. I mean, I
don't mind him. I think he's been fine this year.
He stay on the field.
We know that Godwin is going to be getting a ton of overall targets if Evans is even somewhat compromised, which he will be for this game. So is this a classic Mike Evans game where he just suits up and then he's just in the locker room for like 20 minutes and then he comes walking back out?
But he gets a TD. I would do Evans TD.
I know TD's fine. I'm just saying for yards. You like look up and it's like, oh, Evans in the locker room again. He's going to the tent. All right, cool.
Yeah, I would honestly here's what I would take. And this is good because everyone basically gets to kind of see us live lab what will end up being our daily beam a bomb. I would do Evans touchdown. I don't like his over reception. I would do his Evans touchdown because he doesn't need legs to be a red zone look.
No, and he gets every red zone target anyway.
Right. And I look, man, I mean Godwin's high, so I don't know how much one that I don't hate Sterling Shepard. I don't hate him getting 3 catches at all.
What are the yards at?
The yards are 15.
I think I'd rather take the yards, but I mean,
against this team, I'd do it.
He can get there in 1 catch in theory, especially if Evans is going to be missing some snaps. They're going to have to move some guys around. I think Shepard can catch some deep passes potentially.
Let me look at this ADOT on.
I mean, in reality, if he's catching 3 passes, he's getting 15 yards.
He's getting 15 yards. Yeah,
I'd rather just take the yards at that point.
Let's see. Okay, so Tampa's ADOT is surprisingly mid. They're not that bad. But their air yards per game. I mean, I feel like this team's also just going to get killed. Either way, I just feel like it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Derrick Henry is just going to run through them.
Well, the argument is that's also going to promote an even heavier pass game script. So they're going to be trailing. So
yeah, I'm just looking. Wow, is Tampa's defense? I guess they're fine. I'm going to look at their DVOA.
Well, against the run, they're always fine as long as Vea's in the lineup. But
as long as Vea's there, they're fine. They don't have any. I don't think they have any key injury. But let me just take a look.
I don't believe they do either. I mean, Winfield and people came back, I believe, last week, so they should be fine.
And their defense looked worse. So I don't know what they want. Oh, dude, they have a top 10 pass defense according to DVOA.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
The more you know.
Yeah. So, wow. Interesting. I
have to see the quarterbacks they actually face because, of course, they faced off against Rattler, who we know is not any good. We knew that in college at Oklahoma, but. I mean, looking at the quarterbacks they've played, they had a bunch of injuries, but they beat the Commanders in week 1. They gave up 16 to the Lions. That's a good win.
Right now, here's what I got it on my screen, but basically everything's within. They have Philly, New Orleans. New Orleans, the ADOT was actually low. New Orleans.
They've been good against basically everybody, with the exception of like Bo Nix and with the exception of Kirk Cousins, and the entire defense was dead in that Kirk Cousins game.
They gave up 4.
I mean, they gave up 500 plus passing yards to Kirk Cousins. So, that's rough.
So they had 4 TD air TDs against the Saints, 4 TDs receiving against Washington.
Yeah.
3 against Atlanta, 2 against Philly, 1 Detroit, 1 Denver. And the yards per reception was insane. Again, the yards per reception against New Orleans was 13.5. Yeah, you want yards. You don't want catches. You don't need catches here. I think they're going to give up yards. They play zone too, so that makes total sense. Yeah, I think I want Sterling Shepard yards. I think Sterling Shepard yards should probably be in our parlay.
I do want to ask you though, if we're talking about parlays, do we want to consider something with and either Bucky or Rashad receptions?
I mean, we're basically taking a roulette risk. If Sean Tucker, Syracuse's own Sean
That's
Tucker.
true. Tucker was solid last game. I don't think
Sean Tucker's great. I like Sean Tucker.
Yeah.
So look, there's him. I mean, the play that I have in this game, I took last night. I took Raven. I thought this was an insanely low number. I took Ravens first half over 13.5. It's moved like 6 cents. I still love it. They're hitting it every single game, and Tampa's hit it. Tampa's opponents have hit it in all but the Philly game. So
I was going to say, what New Orleans scored 27 points in the second
27
quarter?
points.
Yeah, okay.
So I like that. And yeah, I like the Sterling shot. I like the yards angle on there. I'm not touching. I'm looking around and sorting. I don't like Nelson Aguilar.
Am I wrong for liking the kickers in this game?
Ooh, okay. Well, we could look at that. I'll look at a kicking prop. Let's look. Let's see.
We know Baltimore kicks a ton, and we know Tucker's kind of regained his overall form over the last couple of weeks.
You want points or you want field goals? Or you want?
I'd rather take made field goals. I hate points, but Baltimore is allowing, I believe, the 5th most field goals per game in the league. So they've actually been pretty.
Skull 734 says I have both kickers. He has them in his control.
Okay.
And also this got asked by Beans McDouglas. What a awesome name. It was this Outlier Pro.
He always tunes into my tennis pods. Shout out to Beans.
Beans, dude, that's a bomb name. We're gonna get to that. Someone's asking about McBride. We'll get to McBride. Okay, so your boy Chase,
fantasy team bro Chase.
Fantasy team bro Chase. I mean, he's dude at home. He just clears this number.
You can even go back to last year. He's a machine. But you're looking at the amount of field goals that Baltimore's allowed in terms of, I believe it was attempts.
This is only 120. We definitely are betting this.
I mean, I love the guy.
I think we're definitely getting this, especially if Tampa wants to try to run and gets. So Tampa's not going to be able to get first downs on the run. And you're basically and Baltimore knows that. So basically you're ending up with, if you have a 3rd and 5, I don't think they're getting a first down on that. And so
I mean, he's got a solid leg anyway. Of course, most kickers do nowadays, besides maybe Nick Folk, but shout out to Nick Folk. Point is, most kickers can make from 55 plus. He's one of them. But you're looking at attempts. Baltimore's allowing 2.5 attempts per game, which is tied for, I believe, the 7th most in the league. So Baltimore does give up a ton of yards. We already covered this.
Yeah.
Tampa's red zone offense can be a little bit spotty at times, and we know Bowles loves to be as conservative as possible.
The red zone defense has been really good.
What?
Baltimore's red zone defense is terrible.
Yeah.
Yep, I like it, and their third down their third down conversion stuff is bad too.
We said Evans also is compromised. He needs their go-to weapon, so they might stall out a couple times in plus territory.
No, I like this. We'll go. I think Chase. We got to bang Chase in here. Okay. Is there anybody else? What about let's look at Justice Hill. Do we want any Justice?
Are we doing
Hill
just
props?
parlay pieces, or you want me to mention
my
in
general? I mean, we're kind of sorting it because
we have
we know
the
what's going to
tackles
happen.
play that we already talked about this morning. If you want me to run through that.
We'll go through that. Let's look at Justice Hill and we can do that. Slippin' Jimmy coming in with the Lamar rushing that I know I've seen on a couple things. I mean, he should. I mean, it's primetime Lamar. I think so, but he also has been throwing a lot on the primetime games.
I mean, if the argument is that they're going to use Vea, of course, to clog the middle, it's going to open up outside stuff for Lamar.
Yeah.
So,
which makes sense. I don't know if I like Justice Hill here.
How is Tampa against quarterback rushing?
So let me go through it. So basically, against quarterback rushing, let's see. Jaden Daniels 88 in the first game, but
I know Rat Ord won along.
Bo Nix had 47.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts had 20.
They're terrible against quarterbacks.
Blowout loss.
I mean, they're allowing the 4th most rushing yards to opposing.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it's design run versus whatever. Week 1 with Jaden Daniels, sure, fine, whatever. Jared Goff had 5, which is actually a lot for him. That's a lot for that. They lost that game though. So him having 5 in a game where they lost is actually, I think, a pretty big deal. Bo Nix ran all over them.
Yep.
Hurts lost by 40 points and still got 20, but that was a lot of this was garbage.
I mean, I thought about maybe longest rush for Lamar at 16.5. He's gone over in 8 of the last 10.
Spencer Rattler had 27, but we proved that was because he just didn't know the playbook.
Well, he had one scramble though where he broke through. But if you do think they're going to focus on stopping Henry, they might open up at least one read option to the outside. I don't mind.
I kind of would. I almost would rather do the longest. Let me just see something.
He's been great this year. He's gone over in 4 of the last 5.
What I like to do when I'm looking at the longest on rushing is I just look at explosive runs that they've given up, and I like it less. They're like bottom of the league in limiting explosive runs, probably because of Vea. And then I'll look at the ALY, which is basically how I kind of decide what I want to do. I'm not saying they're stopping Henry, but
my point is more if they're focused on containing, and they might open up at least one run for Lamar where he kind of breaks containment.
Yeah, I mean, all he needs is a read option to do it. But the thing is that they're not good. They're very good at limiting those explosive runs, and they've gone against teams that are run heavy, like they did it against the Eagles.
They might not be against quarterbacks though, because once again, Bo Nix kind of ran all over him. Daniels ran all over him.
Yeah, but they got the jump on. They got the jump on that team right away.
Correct, but I'm saying that they've been good against explosive runs, but it's mostly against running backs. It doesn't really factor in the quarterback.
So let me just see. It's okay. I mean, their defensive lines, they've just been good on it. Let me see if they have anything else that's in here that's worth kind of going after. Might go to my fave, the adjusted sack rate.
That's fun. You have any sacks plays for today?
I'm just deciding if these guys fit. So, okay, so Baltimore like rarely gets sacked.
Yeah. Well, Lamar's going to keep every play alive. So.
And Tampa's up there in getting sacked. Okay. This might be a Baltimore first sack.
You've been good with these for the last
couple weeks. I've been killing them. I'm still yelling at Sean about them. Mm-hmm. See, the thing is that Baltimore's not like really creating a ton of pressure. I got to see what the number is, but they're top 10. They're top 10 in an adjusted sack rate, so they would qualify. I think I may do Lamar, or I think I may do Baltimore. Baltimore first sack. Yeah. Anyway, Lamar over longest rush, I can get into because I don't think that I don't know if there's a lot of worlds where he's kind of getting to 50 without doing that. But and if you look, he actually hits that more than he hits the 50. Mm-hmm. So there's here he is again.
The 50s that he has hit though are very, very close.
Yeah.
So I prefer longest rush over.
I prefer longest rush too. Yeah, longest rush is infinitely better hit rate here. I'm gonna do longest rush. Okay, longest rush, and that what was the other one that you were asking?
I was wondering if you wanted me to run through my case for tackles.
Oh yeah. This guy Trenton Simpson, who you and I took this morning while I was in the dentist's office. I told him, I'm like, hold on, guys, I have to take this dude. Who has already moved against us, but we have the under. Who's already moved against us, so whatever. All right, make the case.
Yeah, I feel like the numbers speak for themselves. You're looking at the numbers in the Outlier stream. He's had less than 4 solo tackles in every game this season. He also, if you want to pull up his numbers from last year, those are also fun. I mean, his snap count was extremely limited last year, but it's a funny graphic if you want to stick the proof on it. It's a pretty fun graphic, but the point is that Tampa's randomly really good at preventing solo tackles, and especially from linebackers. Fewest in the league.
Well, they don't let them in. They have like really
fewest in the league. But you are looking at Baltimore; they are always in the bottom 10 in solo tackles because everybody goes towards the ball carrier. Yeah, so they just have a ton of assists.
It's why they're also good it's why they're very good at rushing defense because they gang tackle.
Yeah, but you're looking at what they do and how they constantly have people swarming the ball carrier. You don't get many solos. Baltimore right now is the 5th fewest solos in the entire league, and Simpson plays about 2/3 of the snaps. But you have Roquan, who's playing 100%. It's a pretty limited role for Simpson anyway. He's fine, but he's gone under in every game this season. And you're looking at Tampa, once again, being great at stopping linebackers from getting solos. I think it's a good spot. I think minus 120 is a good deal.
Yep. Nope. We took it this morning. And all right, let's go to the next game. So the big one that I had liked early, and we kind of nuked it last night, so I hate to be that guy, but Justin Herbert under rush, which was inexplicably 13.
I'm surprised you don't filter out the daily fantasy apps when you do the scrolling.
Because sometimes there's stuff that's really good, and I like to have somebody else do it for me. So this
Fair.
collapsed last night. I mean, here's the thing. He doesn't hit this. I get it. Arizona stinks against all this stuff. Like, this isn't the rusher on the Chargers that I'm buying, especially since he has a bum ankle. Trevor jumping in. This is exactly who I want to buy. I want to buy Dobbins.
Yeah.
So look, I wouldn't take this actually at this anymore. I would actually have fun with this at take the under 5.5 at plus 220. First of all, I think the Chargers win this game.
If they win the game, you get kneel downs. So that's
you get kneel downs too. I think they win. I think they win this game. This is absolutely. I'm comfortable giving that out. In fact, I think you and I should have a stupid parlay that has this in it.
That works. That's fine with me.
Cool.
Well, just ask, what number did you like Herbert at? That was 12.5. You gave it out?
I gave it out. So I took the alt at 10.5 when it was at 13.5, and now 10.5 is the number. Right. I would still take the 10.5, but I took the under 10.5 at like plus 135 because I looked at it and I'm like, he doesn't hit this, and he's got and he's got a bad
Harbaugh has been willing to do is that he knows that his quarterback can't move, so he's turned him into a statue.
Yes,
which is what he should be doing.
And that's fine. But a guy who I do like, I think Dobbins is going to run all over this team. I think he's a really good player. I feel like we're right back on Ravens. Rushing attempts, yards. Let me find actually longest rush too.
Well, what's your ceiling for Dobbins here? Like 100?
I think Dobbins can get 100 against this team. Let's going through the game logs against Arizona. Like, look at this. Since first of all, everybody on Green Bay had at least 20 yards rushing. I don't even know who Chris Brooks is. But guess what? He had 20 yards against them. Jordan Mason at 89. And Gurando had 22. I know that he got he went in and out on that. McNichols had 68 and Robinson had 101.
That's just funny.
And on top of that, Jaden Daniels had 47. I mean, I'm not saying that's different types of players, but in terms of just what they hemorrhage on the rush side, yeah. I mean, so for Dobbins, I mean, let me look.
Are we just throwing that into the parlay?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to, right?
I think we kind of have to.
Yeah, I think Dobbins is definitely a guy that we'll do in the parlay.
I mean, Trevor's mentioning that the receivers are half dead on this team. Not wrong.
I don't even think that they're good receivers.
Oh, they don't have to be. The point is that they might lean even more heavily into the run because they don't have any receivers to throw the ball to.
Let me look at explosive runs against Arizona. Yeah, also I like longest rush because look, 24 10+ yard. The most, let's see, yardage that they've given up. They've given up 373 yards that are of explosive yards. They're explosive TDs. This also is a really good one for so they're 13th in explosive TDs. But yeah, this team stinks.
Quick shout out to Cardinals coach, another defensive minded guy. His defense sucks.
Yeah, it came from the Eagles too.
Shout out to him.
I just think Dobbins at 80 yards is too low. And then alts wise, I mean
100 to 215 is really not that bad.
100 to 215 is not that bad. It's very interesting that the jump is.
I mean, same game parlay. Can you take his over and Herbert under at 5.5?
Yeah, dude, I like that.
That's an option.
So that's a fun one.
For same game.
Yeah, I mean, for the point of our parlay, we'll have Dobbins.
We are fortunate though, because usually when FanDuel gives us something, we got to do it in one game. At least this one we got 2 games to pick from, so we can kind of mix and match.
So I like that. I don't know. I don't care about any of the receivers in this game. I don't know. Is there anybody who you kind of had looked at in that or no?
For the receivers, no. I mean, the Chargers have no receivers I actually like in the first place. And
I like McBride. I don't hate McBride.
McBride's fine. I mean, I'm saying for the Chargers, I don't like anybody because Harbaugh basically turned them into Michigan from last year, which is just, please don't be an idiot. We're running the ball 40 times a game. That's kind of what they're doing. So I think that they're going to try to run the ball in this team as they should because the Cardinals can't stop the run. For receiving, I like McBride a lot. I think he's a very solid player. I mean, we know Harrison Jr. is banged up, so they're going to have to try to get creative. He's going to play in this game, right?
Yeah, he also they've since he's got banged up in multiple straight games.
No, I know,
like,
I'm saying, but he's active, so I think he'll be a
yeah,
decoy.
one of those games is a concussion, so I'm kind of like I might take a sneaky under on his stuff. If I'm Harbaugh, the easiest guy to game plan out is going to be a rookie wide receiver on the other team.
Yeah.
So I like his unders. I don't know if we're going to do we like Dortch or Wilson. Wilson's been doing really well
We
lately.
like Wilson. Wilson's done well for us in the past.
Wilson cashed us many a parlay last year.
He did. Well, because last year's prop was at like 15.5, 20.5 yards, and he got on like one catch every time.
Yeah, I don't hate this. He's got the third most targets on the team. I mean, Dortch and him are similar, but Dortch doesn't get nearly as much.
No, Dortch is more of like I don't want to say check down guy, but he's the drag route guy. Wilson can actually.
Wilson played 95% of the snaps last week. We want Wilson. Yeah. So Dortch.
I have nothing
62.
against Dortch, by the way, but Wilson can, in theory, catch a bomb.
Yeah. It's a usage thing for me. And how's he been at home? Oh, he's great at home. Let's see this. What's his real ceiling? Oh, his ceiling is actually 31 on the over. I may take that actually as a play. Okay. And then Ladd McConkey, who I think is not a real name. I don't know if people want him.
I liked him in college. Does that count?
What was he at Notre Dame?
No, it was Georgia.
Georgia. That's right. I was like, where are these white receivers coming from?
Belichick would have drafted him if he was actually a coach.
Yeah, he hadn't been fired.
Shifty wide receiver. Unfortunately, didn't have a team to actually, command the front office to draft. But
I know. All right, so we got a ton of stuff. We got Baker interceptions. So we got a lot of these things are stuff we like, but then we'll put out.
Well, truth is, Baker interception I liked a lot more when it was cheaper. Like at 140.
I'm not betting it at 146. So
that's what I'm saying. Like it was a lot better when it was in the 120s, 130s. So
we're definitely taking Chase. We like Lamar longest rush. We already bet Trenton Simpson. We like the Justin Herbert under rush. We like J.K. Dobbins over rush. I can tell you now, we could probably build our parlay right now. I think we want our parlay is going to be Dobbins over.
Yeah.
For sure. What
do we want Shepard in there, or is that too sick?
I mean, I feel like Shepard's game script proof.
It's at 14.5.
I know.
Like we know Evans is injured too.
Right. I think we do Shepard 15 yards.
They have to throw the ball. They can't run in the first place, and Baltimore's a pass funnel.
Dobbins, and I'm kind of into. I'm either into Wilson. Do you want to do a result or no?
It's up to you. Do you want to?
Yeah, Chargers money line. Chargers plus like 28.5 or whatever. We can just like.
What, do you want to merge in like Chargers alt spread with the under because this game's going to be disgusting?
No, because it's indoors, and so I don't want to.
I just refuse to believe.
I'd rather do Wilson. I think I like Wilson. I like
the Chargers are actually built like a Rex Ryan Jets team. Like if they want the game to finish in the 30s. Like they really just go out of their way to make the game as ugly as possible, and it's painful to watch. But it's up to you. I mean, we could go player props. We could throw in Dobbins touchdown if you wanted to. Like we have some options here.
I mean, we could just I think we'll figure it out later. But I think I either want to do result or I would do Michael Wilson.
I think we agree on Shepard at that number. We agree on Dobbins, obviously, and we can go from there.
Okay, cool. And there, any of the people who are like, you never post this, we're going to post it. Well, we won't post it because we have bad luck. The reason why we don't post it, guys, is because every time we post it loses.
Yeah, we were very superstitious, but it's also
superstitious.
It's on your Pickett anyway. So
we talk about it, and it shows up in my Pickett account. So if you want to do that, it's always there. All right. Okay. Cool. So then we want to do a little bit. Let's do a little bit of NBA before we get out of here.
A reminder: these games are not tonight. These games are tomorrow.
These games are not tonight. Give me a future that you love that you and I are hammering on an offshore.
I mean, we already hammered slightly, but I have to get more balance. I reached out to the guy for you, by the way. I'm waiting to hear back. Anyway,
good deal.
Point is, I like the Wizards win total under 20.5, which is just an absurd number. They won 15 last year. They got worse. One of the only players I actually liked on the team was Avdia and Tyus Jones, who I actually like, and they're both not there anymore. So
Avdia, Israeli.
Have fun with Malcolm Brogdon, I guess, for like a quarter of the season because he's going to get hurt and traded. But 20.5 is crazy. People have to remember the Cooper flag sweepstakes here. These teams won't be trying, and the Wizards have actively like waved the flag before the season started. They got Sarr, they're going to give a bunch of minutes to, who looked like garbage in Summer League. We'll see how he looks in this one.
They got rid of their point guard,
they got rid of the point
very
guard.
good.
They still have Jordan Poole and Kuzma. So
Who's awful.
Sure. They traded away Gafford last year. We saw what he did with Dallas. So, yeah, how does this Wizards team win 21 games? Like, they're trying to guarantee themselves a top 3 draft pick, or at least give themselves top 1 odds of getting flag. And they changed the rules so the bottom 3 records have the same odds for the highest chance. 21.5. They won 15 last year, and they got worse. How are they going to win 21, 22 games?
We went nuts. We went nuts on this one.
It's an insane line. I got to go with the under. This team's going to... I think they're worse than the Nets. And the Nets are a team I root for, and they're going to be bad. But if you compare the rosters, Wizards to Nets, the Nets have a better team, which is saying a lot, because the Nets are trying to tank. The Wizards are the worst team in the league.
Yep, I agree. They'll still beat the Sixers when they play them, though.
They won 15 last year? Well, they might win if it's a back-to-back because Embiid's not playing.
Embiid won't play. Well, it'll be first halves they do all that stuff. Nope, I agree. By the way, there are so many high totals. Do you have any? Have you already examined any props that you like? Because I have one that I do like.
We're talking about for Wednesday, Thursday, because I know you like Pistons player, but they don't play till Thursday. So
they don't play till actually they play Wednesday. My bad, but yeah.
Okay.
But I have a Pistons prop that I like. But what do you like?
All right. So for the actual card, I'll stick with the games on Tuesday because why not? I'm trying to think if I want to go for Cat under his rebounds in this game or not, because he has been rebounding well in the preseason, but I feel like the rebounding is kind of on and off. I feel like Julius Randle actually has a good spot against the Lakers in that first game. I'm trying to figure out how they're going to try.
I hate Julius Randle so much.
I know you do, but I think it's actually a pretty good spot here against the Lakers.
So he is he's my Ellie De La Cruz of the NBA. Except,
it's honestly fair, but I think it's actually a good matchup because they're looking at what
his
AD's
body language
do.
is terrible and he's not exciting at all.
Is AD going to guard him? Probably not. He's going to roam guard and Gobert.
He's gonna roam guard. Yeah, that's
who else on that team plays defense? On the Lakers?
That Lakers defense, nobody.
That's kind of my point. Vanderbilt tries to, but he gets injured every year.
And he gets injured, but he's not going to do that. But Reeves,
it's a good spot.
I think Reeves isn't starting. Is he?
I think he's more of a bench guy.
Yeah. So,
but right, Randall, I don't maybe mind the PRA. I think the assist could be there too for him. They're going to give him some chances his first game back. I think that he's in a pretty solid spot. Yes, it's going to look
high. This is a high PRA, dude. 30?
It's 30.5, but yeah, I mean, he did go over in his last bunch of games with the Knicks, but it's his first game with the new franchise. I get that's going to look a little bit weird.
I like the PR. Personally.
That's fine. My point is, I think he's got a pretty decent overall matchup here against the Lakers.
Think so too.
So, and we know LeBron's the de facto power forward who never wants to guard anybody until the last 2 minutes of a game. So I think it's a good spot. But Randall, once again, they're going to give him a bunch of isolation touches. It's going to look very disgusting, but the usage will be there.
So another well, if you like usage stuff, so a good, just in general, like if you guys are looking at NBA props, this is a really good tip I got from Joe Delara in general, and you and I've talked about it last year. RA is a usage prop. So like if you like a guy to get a lot of usage in a game, RA is great because it's a really good, it's sort of almost game script proof because if you have a guy who's in there, he's either, it doesn't necessarily have to be the guy who's taking the last shot at the game, but it's a guy who's definitely going to have 30 plus minutes in there. Mm-hmm. Usage oriented more than, hey, he's a great rebounder, he's a great assist guy. It's just like he exists. RAs are really good. Key numbers on RAs are, by the way, 9.5 and 10.5. 11.5 is very high.
Yeah, Trevor, I see a problem, by the way. You're saying that you like Bronny unders. He has to actually play.
This is Trevor saying this. Trevor's just he's terrible. He is terrible.
To be fair, I don't mind the call for this game because in a season opener, do they get Bronny on the court for 1 minute so he can play with LeBron to a standing ovation? Would he get 1 minute of playing time in this game? He might.
Are his stats up? No,
probably not. I'm just saying it is the home opener. So if he actually played 1 minute here to end a quarter, it would not shock me. That actually would not surprise me at all, actually. Home opener, you get LeBron and his ego getting to cheer with his son for a standing ovation. It's actually
Isn't his other son better at basketball?
What?
Doesn't he have another son that's way better at basketball?
I don't think Bryce is that good, but that's a separate
I don't think any
story.
of them are
I
good.
mean,
The
Bronny,
ball-
I don't think is an NBA player, but he was good in his last preseason game. They lost the game by about 50, but he had good numbers, so that counts, I guess. But I do want to point out, by the way, if you go back to Randall, I kind of want to see his head-to-head numbers against the Lakers. I don't know if I'm right or not. I feel like historically he's had good numbers against this team, but I
Hold
don't
on.
know if I made that up or not.
Okay, so his assist
That's one
is there.
assist,
Let me just look at his points and
ERA, and then
rebounds.
go from there.
I mean, he
I
had
mean, like
14 and
he's had good
27.
games against this team.
Yeah.
And you're assuming Gobert's going to get the AD matchup, and AD loves to shoot mid-range jumpers. So that
I
can't
like the RA just for what it's worth. Just
That's
like,
fine.
I like the RA.
Randall will get the ball. It's going to look really ugly to start the season. Maybe they'll figure out, maybe they won't. But you did just trade away arguably your second best player.
Hold on, Trevor just says I don't really follow NBA. I'm just a certified LeBron.
That's fair, honestly.
Ronnie hater.
That's fair.
Yeah, he does pretty well against them. It's the same, and since the Lakers don't build good teams, it's the same guys. All right.
Can I get some Nas Reed threes? Is that an option?
See.
You know, I love that guy.
Dude, that guy's a bomb.
He's my pick to win Sixth Man of the Year. Which is
not
not a hot take at all, but I think
he's not a hot take. Dude's even money for 2 threes.
I think he's a phenomenal player. I know the threes can sometimes be a bit iffy, but
yeah, but he'll get the. Let's see what the regular.
The Lakers
season,
gave up so many threes last year.
Let's see his volume. See, the problem is they got so far in the playoffs, so all I can see right now is just like how he did here. But like,
do they have head-to-head numbers against the Lakers? They don't have.
Yeah. Let me do his head-to-head. His head-to-head against the Lakers.
I mean,
dude, this is
he's so good against this team.
By the way, this is definitely going in a parlay for us.
I mean, Reed 1.5 threes is just such a great deal.
Dude, he averages 4 attempts against them in 4 meetings last year.
His last 2 games, he's 11 made threes against this team.
In the last 2 games. And he had 10 attempts. He had 10 attempts in the game in March, which they lost by 11. So it's like game and they won this one by 10, and he had 8. Yeah, we're taking that.
I mean, that's a great deal. What's the alt one, by the way? Can I see the alt?
Yeah. We're gonna ladder this.
I mean, plus 280 for 3? Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty good deal.
We'll take it. Right.
I mean, everyone's going to love Ant because it's going to be Ant versus LeBron. I'd rather pivot to other people.
Yep. Nope, I get it. Okay. The play that I liked, I keep looking up for Jaren Durant, but it's because I'm so used to baseball. But Jalen Durant, I think his under rebounds, and it's on the move. This number, so it's out there at like a 12.5, and that's fine if you want to do that. I took the under 11.5 earlier. Like, he first of all just didn't hit this down the stretch. Second, for a guy who was in and out of the line, he's very, very good. But for a guy who was in and out of the lineup at times last year because of ankle and other injuries, I really don't see a world where on the opening night in a game with a total of 233, by the way, he's going to have 12 rebounds.
Can I see his head-to-head against the Pacers from last year?
The last one he didn't. He hit it in all 3.
Okay. Now, what were the minutes at though?
The minutes were 30, 30,
okay.
20.
All right.
It's fine. I get it, but like the thing is just like it's really high. And by the way, Halliburton didn't play any of those games. It's really high, and the total is really high, and it's just very hard for me to be into a guy getting 12 or 13 boards and where a total's 233.
Shout out to Duran, by the way, who's under half a block as a starting center is minus 130.
Yeah, wow.
What a rim protector. Shout out to that guy.
What a rim protector.
Shout out to Sabonis, wherever he is. Shout out to Sabonis. Oh, God.
All right. We have 15 different plays that we're dumping in for you guys to just mess around with. But immediately we should go take this Nas Reed ladder and just
1.5 threes is too low because he owns that team.
I completely agree. All right, cool. All right, so this was good. All right, and someone asked how often do we do these? I basically text Scott usually the day of, and I'm like, hey, can you do this? But I do them 3 times a week. Scott, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio. You can also find me on the SGPN. Of course, you can find me on the tennis show. You can find me on the basketball show, either NBA or WNBA. You can find me on the baseball
Not
show as well.
WNBA anymore. You're not going to find that.
We have one
done.
episode left. We got to do the recap of the finals, and
okay.
we got to brag because we hit our John Quell 25-1 MVP bet. So we got to brag about it. But yeah, we're gonna be busy with that, at least for the NBA season starting up, of course. And yeah, by the way, we hit our second leg of the tennis parlay, so we move.
Nice,
so
nice,
keep that in mind.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So we're gonna see what happens, but yeah, overall can't complain.
And then the play that we will have, we're gonna put it in after this. But Sterling Shepard, Dobbins, and what did we want to do?
We were gonna talk about the third one, but
all right, that might be. We got to figure it out.
We could throw in Herbert again if you want to double down on the 10.5.
No. I'll do that. That'll be a different one. That one we should do on your account with like a bomb.
Because because if you don't know the ins and outs here, I'm more limited on my account than he is on his.
Well, but so what's funny is that like I was limited. I was like ultra limited.
Yeah, you deposited and
then I deposited and all the gates went up.
I tried the same thing because there was a deposit bonus, so I put down an extra $25 and just nothing changed.
Yeah, all my stuff got lifted after I did that. I went from $10 to that. So all right, cool. All right, Scott, thanks for coming by, man. Everybody else, good luck with your bets. Unless you suck, in which case I hope your bets lose. Talk to you guys later.
Happy Sukkot.